Krishna, why is my mind so loud? Because you never gave it silence to rest in. Why did heartbreak change me? It was meant to open you, not destroy you. Why does my past still hurt?
Because you revisit it more than your future.
Why can't I trust people anymore?
Because you trusted the wrong ones too deeply.
Krishna, what is my purpose?
To become someone you're proud of.
Why do I fear things that haven't happened?
Because imagination serves your fear more than your faith.
Welcome to our podcast with Krishna, the Krishna Mentorship Series, Episode 2, Heal Your Mind Fast. How do I calm my mind quickly?
Focus on your breath. The mind follows where the breath goes.
Why does my mind feel heavy all the time?
Because you carry thoughts you never release.
How do I stop negative thoughts fast?
Interrupt them with a small thought. Movement reseats the mind.
Why do I overthink small things?
Because your mind is tired, not weak.
How can I mentally reset in 1 minute?
Close your eyes, breathe slow, and drop your shoulders. 10 leaves for.
Why does my mind get tired so easily?
Because you give attention to everything, not just what matters.
How do I heal from mental stress?
Remove the source before treating the symptom.
Why do my thoughts hurt me more than reality?
Because imagination amplifies what fear whispers.
How do I feel peaceful again?
Accept what you can't change. Action follows acceptance.
What's the fastest way to heal my mind?
Be honest with yourself. Truth cleans faster than time.
Hi, I am Vipul Patel signing off. Thanks, Krishna, for your time.
I have always time. You guys are busy watching social media.
Let's start episode 3, Building Strong Relationships with our great mentor, Krishna. Krishna, how do I deal with conflict in a relationship?
Meet anger with calmness. Meet noise with silence.
Why do my expectations always lead to disappointment?
Expect only effort from yourself and freedom from others.
How do I forgive someone who hurt me deeply?
Forgive for your own peace, not for their deserving.
Why does love feel so fragile and temporary?
True love is unconditional. It seeks nothing in return.
I feel used and taken advantage of by others.
Set boundaries, but serve without the expectation of gratitude.
What is the foundation of a lasting bond?
Honesty, kindness, and non-judgmental acceptance.
How can I stop judging the people around me?
See them as souls on their own path, not as your extensions.
My friend has changed for the worse. What should I do?
Love the eternal person, not the temporary behavior.
What is the secret to getting along with everyone?
Treat others as you wish to be treated. That is the eternal dharma.
Give me one final relationship tip.
Maintain inner equanimity, whether praised or insulted.
Welcome to our podcast, episode 4, The Real Reason You Overthink. Why do I overthink everything?
Because your mind is trying to protect you from past pain.
Why do small things feel so big in my head?
Because you add meaning where there is only a moment.
Why do I replay conversations for hours?
Because you fear being misunderstood.
Why does overthinking get worse at night?
Because silence gives your thoughts more space than they need.
Why do I imagine the worst outcomes?
Because fear is louder than logic when you're tired.
How do I stop overthinking fast?
Shift from thinking to doing. Action interrupts anxiety.
Why do I overthink people's words?
Because you care more deeply than they communicate clearly.
Why does my mind create problems that aren't real?
Because your brain repeats patterns it hasn't healed.
How do I calm my mind during overthinking?
Breathe slow, relax your shoulders, the body resets the mind.
What's the real reason I overthink?
Because you don't trust your strength as much as your fear and mind.
Welcome to Krishna Mentor Series Episode 5, Conquering Anxiety and Stress, Nishkama Karma. Krishna, how do I stop worrying about the future?
Stop claiming the result as yours.
Why does my mind constantly jump to worst-case scenarios?
Your mind is a tireless servant, not your master.
How do I stay calm when everything is changing?
Accept change as the only constant duty of nature.
I feel so much pressure to succeed. What do I do?
Do your duty with focus, not for the outcome.
What if my best effort still leads to failure?
Action is under your control, the result is not. Surrender.
How can I find peace in this noisy, competitive world?
Peace is an inner choice, not an external circumstance. Inner peace.
What is the biggest mistake I make every day?
To forget you are merely an instrument of the divine.
I'm constantly comparing myself to others.
Compare only your past self to your present self. Self-improvement.
How do I forgive myself for past mistakes?
Learn the lesson, release the guilt, the past is dissolved.
What is the final secret to a stress-free life?
Perform action as worship, and the burden will vanish. My child, you will be success in your mission.
Welcome to the Krishna Talks episode 6, the AI regulation dilemma, ethics versus progress. And we can't regulate AI yet, we'll lose the innovation race.
If we don't regulate it, we risk losing control altogether.
AI creates new, better jobs, it's just creative destruction.
It replaces the necessity of human labor, causing societal collapse.
The country that owns AI rules the 21st century.
But ethical rules must precede all military application.
Privacy is an outdated concept. Data fuels better services.
Data is not currency, it is a record of the soul. It must be private.
AI frees us for leisure and higher pursuits.
It devalues human judgment and necessary struggle.
We can debug the AI bias over time.
The bias is human, you're just automating prejudice.
The free market should govern AI development.
The market has no conscience, the state must have oversight.
Fear of the future slows all progress.
Fear is an instinct that warns us of existential threats.
The goal is efficiency, speed, and comfort.
The goal is wisdom, stability, and control.
Welcome to the Krishna Talks episode 7. Today, we will talk about the true meaning of success. What is the biggest obstacle to true success?
The illusion that success is a destination, not a journey.
How do I know I'm fulfilling my purpose?
When your actions benefit others without expecting reward.
What is a successful life ultimately worth?
A life used for the betterment of the world and self-realization.
Krishna, how do I know if I'm truly successful?
Success is living in alignment with your inner duty.
I'm scared of losing everything I've gained.
The successful person treats gain and loss with equanimity.
I feel terrible when others achieve more than me.
Measure your progress against your potential, not their fortune.
But the world measures success by bank balance.
A pure mind is far greater wealth than a full treasury. Vipul, you need to control your anger, otherwise I am leaving now. I am sorry.
I am sorry, Krishna. What if my chosen path isn't glamorous or lucrative?
It is better to perfect your own duty than to imitate others.
Give me one final tip for lasting success.
Be steady in your intellect. That is the yoga of success.
Welcome to Krishna Talks episode 8, Spiritual Guide with Modern Knowledge. What is the soul?
The soul is the timeless awareness that witnesses your thoughts and life experience.
What is true peace?
It is a state where your attention rests in the present without resistance.
Why do we suffer?
Because we cling to expectations instead of flowing with reality.
Why do certain people trigger us?
Because they stir unresolved patterns within our psyche.
What is meditation?
Meditation is training the mind to return to awareness rather than wandering in stories.
What is karma?
Karma is the ripple of actions and choices shaping future tendencies and outcomes.
Why does gratitude help?
Because it shifts the brain from threat mode to connection and growth.
What is ego?
The temporary identity your mind builds to navigate the world.
Why do spiritual awakenings feel so intense?
Because old patterns dissolve as new awareness expands.
What is intuition?
It is the quiet signal of deeper intelligence beyond conscious thought.
Why do we seek connection?
Because humans are wired for belonging and hearts yearn for resonance. Watch, listen and learn. Vipul is doing wonderful work, so subscribe his channel. My blessing is always with you.
Welcome to the Krishna Talks episode 9, When You Feel Lost Inside. Why do I feel lost even when my life looks normal?
Because your heart wants change your mind hasn't accepted yet.
Why do I feel disconnected from myself?
Because you've been living for expectations, not truth.
Why am I unsure about everything lately?
Because your old identity no longer fits who you're becoming.
Why do I feel stuck between choices?
Because you want certainty before taking a step, but clarity comes after the step.
Why does nothing feel exciting anymore?
Because you've outgrown the life you're still trying to fit into.
How do I stop feeling lost?
Simplify, remove what drains you, focus on what you can control.
Why do I doubt my path so much?
Because you compare your journey to timelines that aren't yours.
Why do I feel like I'm searching for something?
Because your soul knows there's more than what you're settling for.
How do I find direction again?
Start with one small, honest decision. Direction grows from honesty.
What does feeling lost really mean?
It means you're changing, not failing.
Welcome to the Krishna Talks, episode 10, How to Stop Procrastinating. Krishna, why can't I just start the work I need to do?
The inertia of the mind is harder to move than a mountain.
How do I conquer laziness in the moment?
Think not of the burden, but only of the first breath of action.
I waste hours every day. How do I fix it?
Do not wait for the perfect moment. The present is your only power.
What if the task seems too big to handle?
Divide your labor and focus on the single block before you.
I feel no motivation. Where do I find energy?
Action is the true birthplace of motivation, not the other way around.
My mind keeps wandering to easier things. What do I do?
Direct your thoughts to the work as the sun directs its light.
What is the spiritual cost of constantly delaying life?
You trade your potential for temporary comfort.
Give me one final simple rule for immediate action.
Your duty is your only priority, so do it now without question.